Execution level next, no way to explain it. I'm XXX, this triple X rated.
Good afternoon, Genesys gamers. I'm MBT, and this is 100 Point Playtesting. I know what's happened. You bought the meta decks from Konami, didn't you? Striker's playable, Mitsurugi's playable, but what to do with the other deck in the box? Well, worry not. These monsters are actually the backbone of a very playable strategy in Genesys. Presenting X-SABER. So here's the list. As always, I'll give you a background about the archetype, a little bit of a discussion about what I hope the deck can do, and of course the card by card. But first, this video is sponsored by Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro Deck. Looking for a place to find inspiration for Genesys decks? Well, look no further. I've already spent years telling you about how Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro Deck is the best repository of deck lists, strategy articles, third-party assistance with alternate ways to play Yu-Gi-Oh!, and card collection management on the internet. But right now, it's also the best way to find Genesys lists. You can sort by deck type, filter high-level tournaments to see what's been working, and download decks you see in any format you desire. That's why I'm proud to be sponsored by www.ygoprodeck.com. Now back to the video. With that, let's examine X-SABER. X-SABER is a dual terminal archetype so old it can legally fuck as of last Thursday, which is great news because this list fucks. As a member of Duel Terminal, this archetype's got decades of stinkers built up, but courtesy of new support in the legendary decks, it's finally got something it's good at: synchro summoning. While in the TCG, long synchro combos are the purview of that one guy playing Junk Speeder at table 500, in Genesys, they're not too far outside the realm of playability. What makes X-SABER more alluring is their ability to weave through 8-star synchro monsters, including the recently released and shockingly unpointed Assault Mode monsters. In fact, their unique combination of star lines, starters, and extenders makes this, in my opinion, one of the premier synchro slop decks in the format. So with that, let's get into the card by card. We'll begin with our X-SABERs. 3 copies of Pelina, who if normally special summoned can be sent to the graveyard to special summon 2 X-SABERs from your deck, except Pelina, but they're destroyed during the end phase. If this card is part of a synchro, then you can apply one of these effects. Either the monster can attack twice during the battle phase, or it can attack directly. After that, we've got 3 copies of Bruno, and we are going to have to talk about him. Once per turn during your opponent's main or battle phase, you can quick effect. After this effect resolves, perform a synchro summon using Earth monsters you control. And if this card is in your hand, you can banish another Earth monster from your hand, face, field, or graveyard to special this card. If normally special, you can add a Saber spell trap from your deck or graveyard to your hand. We're playing 3 copies of Fall Troll and 2 copies of Garsem, which are actually quite powerful, and then some cards that enable 8s. We've got a Skater Dawnwalker and Fire Ant a Skater. We've got Psy Reflector, an Assault Beast, and Assault Sentinel, and then of course the sub-engine of Assault cards. 2 Crimson Blader Assault Mode, which is both a Searcher and an Endboard piece, and a Stardust Dragon Assault Mode. For Saber spell traps, we've got Godham's Second Call, which if you control an X-SABER synchro, can target 2 X-SABERs, special them both, ignoring the summoning conditions, change their attack to 0, and they're destroyed during the end phase of the turn, and you don't get a battle phase of the turn you activate this card. And Saber Combination, which gets you a whole bunch of cool stuff if a Saber monster is special summoned. You can special summon an X-SABER from your hand or deck. It's also got like attack increase and attack negation effects, which who cares? Finally, we've got Dual Evolution Assault Zone, a Triple Illusion Gate. I have this in the main for now, but I think realistically, this isn't going to remain unpointed forever. Double Assault Mode activate, 2 Fire Formation Tanky, because we really want to draw this X-SABER Pelina, and 2 Book of Eclipse. In the extra, we've got Jurishin, Changying, Commander Susa Swordmaster, who is always treated as an X-SABER, gains 200 for every banished monster, and when it destroys an opponent's monster by battle, can draw a card. When your opponent activates a card or effect, you contribute an X-SABER to destroy a card your opponent controls, and if this card would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can banish a Saber from your graveyard instead. We've got Big Gothams, we've got Arceus, Draco Berserker, Crimson Blader, Ass Dragon, 2 copies of Nightwing Cleric, 2 copies of Stardust Dragon, 2 copies of X-SABER Gothams, which if synchro summoned can add a Saber or a Gotham spell trap from your deck to your hand, and when it inflicts battle damage to your opponent, you can discard a card from their hand. When your X-SABER monster is targeted for an attack while this is in your graveyard, you can special this card and it becomes the attack target. Finally, we are on Pep in the side. We've got some going first cards, Saberhole and Draco Utopian Aura. We've got Twin Twisters, Shared Ride, Double Lancia, and Triple Gam CL. So with that, let's check out a game. Our match is up against Goatee, so we will get a handle on who is the premier Synchro Slop deck of the format. We're going first. We're going to begin with a copy of Tanky in order to grab our beautiful Polina, our Playmaker. We'll go ahead and summon out that Polina, then activate the effect in order to summon out a Bruno and a copy of Garsem. From here, we can use the effect of the Bruno in order to get another copy of Saber Combination. Then after that, we can go ahead and special summon this Faltro, which brings back the Polina as well. Let's make a 10 before anything else. Down comes Changying, and then we'll Synchro Summon a 7 here, the X-SABER Gotems, to get a Gotem's second call. We'll activate Saber Combination and the second call in order to bring back 2 monsters from our graveyard, the requisite stars necessary in order to make Nightwinged Cleric. We'll use its effect to set a copy of Assault Mode activate, then use its effect again in order to summon out a Psy Reflector. Psy Reflector here can grab us Dual Evolution Assault Zone, which we can then, of course, set. From here, we will grab an Assault Beast, and we'll activate the Assault Beast effect in order to get the other Assault Mode activate before bringing it back to our side of the field, courtesy of the effect of our Psy Reflector. We will bring back the Assault Beast, and then from here, we will modulate it to a 7. We'll pay 2, and then go into a copy of Draco Berserker. After that, we're going to go for Bruno into Commander Souza, bringing back Bruno, and Synchro Summoning a Jurishin. Finally, we will end on a Stardust Dragon Assault Mode, courtesy of our Assault Mode activate. Let's pass back to our opponent, who will draw for turn. This is so many points of interaction, I find it unlikely they'll be able to push through. They'll begin with a copy of First Penguin for Abyss Shark. We'll let that resolve just so we know what they're up to. And Aspiss School, the discard as well. They'll go Abyss Shark for Lifeless Leaf Fish here. That's probably worth activating the effect of Jurishin to blow up the board. They will go for the effect of Sekka's Light afterwards, followed by Ran Agrine, which is a great opportunity for Draco Berserker. After that, they are going to go for a Lifeless Leaf Fish, activate the effect to send a Shift, and then special summon the Silent Angler for a Stealth Kragan. We can negate that effect with our Stardust Dragon, and they can draw a card off the Lifeless Leaf Fish. Thankfully, they aren't playing the little Kragans. They'll pass turn here and should just be a hop, skip, and a jump to lethal. We've already got it on board. We'll draw for turn another Skater. We'll switch our monster to attack position, take 2, and get in for well over lethal. So it's time for game 2, and hopefully you're seeing what makes this Synchro Slop pile a little more powerful than something like Goatee. There aren't boarded answers like Artifact Lancia, which are free and win the game immediately. Our opponents going first are going to begin with a copy of Harpooner, and then summon out a Bea Tuneful Princess who banishes for cost, my bad. They're going to go for Shift afterwards, and then normal summon a copy of Lifeless Leaffish. We'll just chain this Artifact Lancia here as they send an Aspiskul. They'll go White Aura Porpoise, and then special out a Harpooner and a Harpooner for a Stealth Kragan. Okay, that's something to get over. We'll draw for turn, and yeah, that'll get over it. We'll activate Illusion Gate in order to wipe the board. They bring back the White Aura Porpoise, but we'll activate Polina in order to get a copy of Bruno and Garsem once again. From here, we can trigger the effect of the Bruno in order to grab another copy of Saber Combination. Then we will go ahead and activate the Saber Combination on our way to Gotems. We'll trigger the effect of the Gotems and the effect of the Saber Combination, bring out a Bruno, and grab ourselves a Gotem's second call. From here, we can go ahead and Synchro Summon a Commander Sousa, then a Gotem's second call in order to bring back both this copy of Garsem and this copy of Polina on our way to Nightwinged Cleric once again. We will set an Assault Mode activate, and then afterwards, we can go ahead and set this copy of Dual Evolution Assault Zone in order to get an Assault Sentinel. We'll activate Dual Evolution and the effect of Assault Mode activate to bring out a Stardust Dragon Assault Mode, and then we'll activate Nightwinged Cleric to bring out a Psy Reflector. From here, we'll activate the Psy Reflector to get a copy of Assault Beast, and now that we have a negate on our side of the field, there's not too much we're worried about. Assault Beast is going to grab us an Assault Mode activate, and of course can be reborn afterwards, courtesy of the effect of the Psy Reflector, which can modulate it to a 7. From here, we can perform a Synchro Summon of Draco Berserker, summon out the Bruno, go into Pep, and remember that we don't have a battle phase. Okay, well, thankfully our opponent didn't draw anything relevant. So we're back with the deck and definitive shit. Let's do the pros and cons. First, the pros. 1. The end board does win the game. Most of Genesys is full of decks with a low ceiling but the ability to play through hand traps. This one goes all the way to the top. 2. Its setup is interruptible, but largely by the hand traps that are popular in the TCG. Without Ashen Pals, this thing is a lot stronger. And 3, this deck just gets to play Pep. If any of you have played the Psychic Punk deck, you know some strategies just straight up do not have an out to this thing. And the cons. 1, it's a combo deck with all that entails. Some hands will get stopped by chokes, some hands will have garnets. It's not something you can really control for more than we already are. 2, the garnets are quite bad. Anyone who's familiar with Assault Mode knows in some hands, it really stinks up the grip. And 3, it's actually insane that we've never printed a good X-SABER spell trap. There's this weird push-pull where Combination and Second Call are good cards if you're already going off. We've got Saberhole in the board, but that card sucks. All in all, I think this deck has legs, and importantly, is a fine investment for anyone who's got a spare core lying around.